Let us return, as we have done every hour at the top this morning on Breakfast, to that terrible story about Nicola Bulley, the mother who disappeared over 3 weeks ago now on the 27th of January. Much criticism aimed at Lancashire Police over the last 48 hours. This search, well, this whole case started with them saying they believed that Nicola had fallen into the river. From there, much work was done. Wednesday came the bombshell that, in fact, there was vulnerabilities about her, a hurried press conference saying problems with alcohol due to perimenopause. The family have been bombarded. The area was never cordoned off. Lancashire Police have reported themselves to the police watchdog. The Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, getting involved yesterday and saying this is just not acceptable. The family have now hit out appalling speculation and said that they have had the most difficult time. One of the most interesting people over this entire sad event has been Peter Faulding, a forensic search and rescue expert who went up there and did the dive and said her body is not in the river. His reaction to the news that they knew, the police, that she had vulnerabilities. We've played it all morning. I thought it a good idea to get him on. Peter, welcome to Talk Breakfast. How are you, my friend?
Good morning, Jeremy. Thanks for having me back.
No, thank you. Let's just nail this. You said to me last night, if you had known as an expert that Nicola Bulley had significant issues that meant that the police labelled her high risk, if they had told you that, your search, your teams would have adopted a different strategy. Can you expand on that a bit, Pete?
Yes, I will, Jerry. We were tasked with, we went up there to search, and we were tasked by Lancashire Police, by the police search advisor, and we were taken to the scene where the bench was, the phone, and I looked down in the bank and I thought, well, it's only 2 feet deep here. She's not going, it was only a foot last week. If she fell in here, she's not going to drown. And I was just baffled by it. And I couldn't get my head around how she'd managed not to be located by police divers who searched it on the day. So what we did, if we had had that information, I would have treated it as any other high-risk misper, where potentially she could have wandered off down the bank, either just wandered off somewhere else with somebody on her own into the woods surrounding land. But all we had was, we believe she's gone in the river here, and that was it. And there was no talk of, you know, alcohol problems or anything, and you treat it totally different. I assumed that Nicola may have drowned.
Can I ask you a question that keeps going round in my head, Pete? And you have faced a barrage of criticism from people saying that you've done this out of self-interest. You've repeatedly said, I'm just trying to help out. Did the police ask you and your team? Did Lancashire Police say, we want you involved? Or was this off your own back? You talked then about your contact, because you were very supportive of Lancashire Police 2 weeks ago when we started covering this story. Last night you said, I'm really angry with the way they've dealt with this whole saga.
Right, Jeremy. We get many calls because, I'll make it clear, we cover police diving for Essex, Kent, Surrey, Sussex, Thames Valley and Hampshire Police Forces. We are the official underwater search team, so highly credible. We got lots of calls to our control room to offer help. Eventually, we reached out to the family, said that we've got a lot of kit experience, we can help. They then went to Lancashire Constabulary, and then later on a meeting was held, and they agreed to have us up there. They said, as long as you work under us, then that's absolutely fine. And that was it. Now, I want to make it clear, I'm not being critical of general police officers because I work with them all the time. They're there for the greater good. They do a good job. But there's obviously always 2%, as I call the 2% club in this world, who let down everybody else. And it's their comms team
absolutely
who badly let them down on this.
I mean, a complete PR disaster. It transpired 48 hours ago that Nicola, the family home, was visited on the 10th of January, a full 17 days before she disappeared. A significant issue, we're told, police, medical professionals, that's still being investigated. So the police would have known that that was in the background. What frustrates me, and I can't get anybody to answer this, is why would they come out on the 27th, 28th, 29th, whenever, and say, we believe she's in the river? If they had in the back of their mind this information which would purport to tell us she could have left voluntarily the area, she could have been taken by somebody, and you said it last night, that really frustrated you because you were doing something for what you believed was the right reasons and you were not given the information you needed. So I know you're not out to criticise the police, but you're right. No. An absolute PR shambles, Pete.
Yeah, this has come down from the top level, Jeremy. Someone has said, do not hand this information to the... Look, there's a lot of egos here. Egos on every job. And I've spoken about this for a long time. People are... We turn up at a job. They know that I find people and my team. We get the job done. We average 10 drownings every year, a number of suicides, especially in the Thames Valley and Surrey police area. We get called in and find them. And that's clear. I get called in to look for bodies buried in gardens. I find them. I find weapons because they know I'm good at my job and my team are excellent. So there's lots of egos playing here, and it will come out in the IPCC inquiry. Whoever instructed the police not to tell us that she was there, Nicola was where she, you know, about this alcohol issue, it will come out in this inquiry.
The other thing is we have Mark Williams-Thomas on, an ex-police officer who's also taken himself up there. One of the big criticisms of the way Lancashire Police have dealt with the Nicola Bulley disappearance is, you know, they didn't cordon off the area. Every Tom, Dick and Harry could arrive and take a photo on the bench or whatever. And I put this to you the other night, and I mean it with the greatest respect. The fact that they've got the Mark Williams-Thomases up there saying, I'm speaking to the family, I'm speaking to the police, this is a debacle, you're saying this, doesn't speak greatly of it, does it? And that, for me, is the real tragedy, because this poor bloody family, Peter, are going through hell. And now they've had to go through a media hell. Now, people are saying to me, well, stop talking about it. We're talking about it because we're trying to do what we can. You have to tell people what's going on. But the police, the police's performance has been far from impressive.
Unfortunately, this is the woke world we live in now. People frightened to actually speak out. I will speak out. And I just find it all the time on police inquiries now. People are fed up with the way it's all being conducted these days. You know, it's they're frightened of their own shadows these days. Unfortunately, Jeremy.
What do you say?
Someone needs to speak up.
So right now, I'm going to read you something that's a criticism, and I'm going to do it for a reason. Dave says, Peter Faulding is now undermining any hope of him and his team doing anything like this again. He should have been forced to sign an NDA. He is now bad-mouthing the very police that he says he wants to work with in the future. What would your response to that be, Peter?
Well, actually, I'll say to Dave that I'm not bad-mouthing the police at all. In every interview, the police, in my mind, I work with them, are highly regarded. I'm a trusted expert. I suggest Dave do a bit of my background and see if some of the cases and the families I've helped over the years who've never, their loved ones would never have been found without my team. We are highly regarded. I've lots of police ringing me, say you're doing a wonderful job. And we took, look, let's get up there. The police didn't even have a toilet on site. They were asking to use our toilet in our command centre. They were left urinating in bushes because they had nowhere to go. This is the problem. There's no investment. And I'm going to speak out today because this makes me really angry, people having to go at me. But we are the people who come in to assist. That's why we're used. I mean, if people don't want to use us, then people will be left in the river. But we are a highly regarded team in the UK. We get the job done, and we are highly professional.
And I will add, I absolutely will say this, because I've spoken to Peter for 2 weeks and he has taken a barrage of criticism. The fact of the matter is, at no point, you have always said that it's the comms. You have always said since this came out that it's the PR. And of course, there will be people who will say, stop talking about it. But the point of the matter is, and I have to say Nicola Thorpe did it so brilliantly on my show last night, because she said, the real issue here, and her parents live in the area, her mother was part of the search. She said, the community wants to help, but they have been led, excuse the pun, down a garden path by just ridiculous pieces of information coming out willy-nilly from the police. The community's frustrated, the media's frustrated, the family must be going through hell, and several people who have been asked, like you, to task their skills also. Just very quickly, what happens next? We want for the family an answer. Where, I mean, overnight, Lawson, Mr. Lawson, the Deputy Chief Constable, said that resources will have to be scaled back very soon. I mean, that's another heart-shattering blow to Paul and his daughters, isn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately, Jeremy, in the world we live in, the police haven't got the resources. And it's a lot of things being cut. I mean, look, there's no underwater search teams down. We cover the whole of the southeast. The Met are there. The next nearest underwater search unit is Nottingham. Herts, Bedfordshire, Cambridge. No one had the resources. They've all gone, and people don't realise this. But I want to say, I've got the greatest respect for the police. It's the comms piece here is the bad thing, and whoever's made these decisions need to be dealt with.
Peter Faulding, I really, really appreciate your time once again. Peter Faulding, forensic search and rescue expert.